So we are just days away from the UN climate conference, COP27. World leaders convening in Egypt right now to discuss the global climate crisis. And 22 was full of extremes. Hurricane Ian, flooding in Pakistan, the drought and famine in East Africa. And now reports warn of more serious consequences, though, as UN data shows the world is far off track from the goal of limiting warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. So let's explain what exactly that means for us. Inger Anderson, Executive Director of the UN Environment Program, as well as Undersecretary General of the United Nations, joins us now to talk more about this. Good to see you, Inger. You know, the UNEP data is showing that we're on track for a potential 2.4 degree Celsius rise in temperature, which equals about, 27 degrees Fahrenheit by the end of the century. Put this in layman's terms for us. What does this signal in terms of where we are headed on climate change?
Well, it means that we haven't done what we said we were going to do when we signed the Paris Accord. It means that the kind of things we're seeing now in terms of disasters, floods, fires, storms, droughts, etc., will just get worse. Right now, we're seeing a world where people are forced to move. 59 million people have been displaced internally by drought and by climate, and or largely by. And we're seeing hunger. I'm speaking to you from Kenya in East Africa, where we're in our 4th year of a drought, largely induced by climate change. So that is the situation. Greater intensity in storms, greater intensity in droughts, variability. That would mean harvest would be difficult to plan for because you don't know when the rains are coming. And of course, emerging infectious diseases, because we know that when the environment is under stress, that's where infectious diseases occur. And so zoonosis, 75% of all infectious diseases are based on these diseases that jump from animals to humans. We would probably see many more of those. So that's not a world we want to have. And of course, finally, instability, war, insecurity, migration. This is the kind of picture we don't want to have.
And the pictures we're seeing are devastating. I mean, the flooding in countries like Pakistan and Nigeria, and then here in the U.S., Lake Mead and Nevada, just one of the many areas experiencing extremely low water levels due to the historic drought. What's happening?
What is happening is, and that's what the report we just brought out told us, that we are right now, based on the current policies that we have, heading to 2.8 degrees centigrade, increased by 2100. Based on the promises that we've made to each other, we're heading between 2.4 to 2.6, depending on how we take these promises. But right now, our climate has already heated by the average of 1.1 degree. And at 1.1, this is what we are seeing. 2.4, 2.6, 2.8 is not a place we want to be. So what is happening is essentially that the intensity of climate change is hitting us so hard, as we just discussed, which is why this meeting that will start in Egypt tomorrow, and I'm leaving tonight to go there, is so critical. Leaders have to now take action, and that's what we're calling for.
And where does that action need to begin? We've talked a lot about the richer nations having a responsibility here, right? Especially when it comes to reparations in areas like Pakistan. What are your thoughts? And do you think that'll make any progress in COP27?
Well, we have to understand that the 20 richest countries, the G20, are responsible for 75% of all carbon emissions. All CO2 emissions come from just 20 countries. And so that's where we need to see the biggest lift, which is why we at the United Nations celebrate every time a country leans in and does the right thing. So the IRA, the Inflation Reduction Act, important step forward because that will bring jobs, green growth, green opportunities at home, but it will also slow down CO2 emissions. That's what needs to happen in the wealthier countries investing in this. But yes, you're right. We also need to deal with loss and damage. You know, Pakistan, you're referring to it, 30 million people affected, 30 billion approximately in damages. And this is just the beginning. So yes, money has to be on the table. Back in 2009, we promised that by 2020, there shall be 100 billion on the table every year. We are inching closer to that. We are at 83 billion this year, but we need to get to 100 billion, and then even then, that's just the floor. We need to invest in climate resilience as well as in renewable energy across the world.
Inger Anderson, appreciate your time. We will follow the summit.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.